Welcome in, guys. We are live here today, doing this here for Better Odds Sports Betting. Kiev and I couldn't get a time together this week, so he might be doing something on his own personally. But got a special guest here, Nick Hub, at Nick Hub Sports on Twitter. We're going to stream this here for Better Odds and also put it on Sports Wagering U on YouTube. If you're not following Sports Wagering U, definitely do that as well. Nick's part of that. We're excited about Sports Wagering U here as we go into 2022. Nick, a lot of big games ahead of us. How you doing?
It's going to be a fun weekend, Kyle. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you coming in. I know it's short notice here, just kind of trying to get some talk about the playoffs here together. But I thought it was funny you've got the Nittany Lions hat on when I was using the Nittany Lions background for the whiteout. I will say I'm not necessarily a Penn State fan. Obviously, I'm a Buckeyes fan, but went to a whiteout game at Penn State once, and just an epic environment, the best environment I've ever been in for college football. Tremendous stuff.
Yeah, they
Let's.
do it right.
Oh
It's
yeah,
got to
definitely.
be top three, if not the best
Yeah,
environment for a night game, and it's got to be a night game. They come out with these stripe games too that they try to do the same thing. It's not the same,
agreed,
but
agreed.
it's
It's
awesome.
awesome, awesome stuff. So let's get into these playoff games here, Nick. We'll start out with Cincinnati and Alabama in the Cotton Bowl. This is our first game here coming up on Friday. Cincinnati plus 13 and a half pretty much across the board right now. Most of the bets are on Bama. The public's going to bet Bama in this game. We know that. Alabama dominating performance against Georgia. Nick, I think the question here is, is it the Alabama team we saw throughout the course of the regular season that had all those really close games, or is it the Bama team that just dominated Georgia? I mean, because that was a really impressive game against Georgia, certainly. I think that has made the line be higher than what it would have been by quite a bit. If they had just squeaked out a win against Georgia, we probably would have seen 10 max here in this one. And instead,
Hmm.
we've got 13 and a half. I'll start out here and say that the Bearcats defense is excellent. I really like this secondary a lot. They have some NFL talent in the secondary. I would be surprised if Bama is able to throw it around on Cincinnati like they were against Georgia. Cincinnati, to me, a bit easier to run against than Georgia, but their secondary is even better. Alabama, not really a running team. They're not really that great running the football. They've been pretty weak there this year. Bryce Young, I think, will probably make some plays with his feet in this one. But my thought is Mechie's a big loss too for Alabama. Now you have Jamison Williams, who's tremendous, but they have two corners at Cincinnati that can cover him pretty well. They can swap in and out there with Bryant and a Gardner as well. The Bearcats would want to run the football here, I would think. Have this be a lower scoring game. They don't want to shoot out here. Desmond Ritter, the question is Desmond Ritter good enough? Can he be one of those guys? Can he play the role of a Deshaun Watson? I don't think he is Deshaun Watson. I don't think anybody thinks he is. But, pro scouts like Ritter pretty well, and he'll get drafted by a team. So this is a big game for him. Saban has won 5 straight semifinal games by 20 points on average. So, obviously, the best coach in college football. I do think Cincinnati's being a little bit disrespected here in the number. I'm rooting for Cincinnati here. I'll just be honest. I like the underdog. I'm a fan of Cincinnati in general. So I'm rooting for Cincinnati to make this a close game. Nick, what are your thoughts on this one? You think Cincinnati can keep this close? And do you have any opinion on the total also?
Yeah, so Alabama's getting 91% of the money, right? And it's moved from 14 to 13 and a half, back to 14 a little for a short period of time, and now it's 13 and a half. So even though Bama's getting the majority of the money, the line's not moving too much. You got the strength of schedule, obviously, favoring Alabama. But I think Mechie will be a big loss in this game. No other wide receiver other than Williams has had more than 333 yards this season. Um, and that'll be the deciding factor in this game, I think, with Alabama's pass offense going up against the Cincinnati pass defense. Bama's been throwing the ball for 448 or 348 yards per game, but Cincinnati's defense is stout at uh, at the pass defense, giving up only 168 yards per game. PFF ranks them third best defensive coverage against wide receivers. So I think that's going to be the key matchup in this game to see if Cincinnati can keep it close, can limit the passing. You're right about the running game. Alabama usually has a decent running game, but this year they're only gaining 4.1 yards per rush, which is crazy because Bama usually pushes out those stud running backs. Not this year, so it'll be interesting. Some trends I have for this game: Bearcats are 5-0 in the last 5 games against a dog, or as a dog. 6-0 ATS versus a team with a winning record. 5-1 ATS in their last 6 non-conference, whereas Crimson Tide are 4-1 ATS in their last 5 non-conference. 5-2 ATS in their last 7 neutral site games. So just some random trends to throw in there, but yeah, it'll be fun. I think I think definitely Cincinnati has a chance to keep it closer than the experts think.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this game. I think we have some two intriguing matchups really here for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I would lean Cincinnati in this game. I also kind of like Alabama team total under. I see 35 and a half. That's quite a few points against a really good defense like this. Certainly, this is a team in Alabama that's capable of big things, and it's not going to surprise either of us if they put together a great performance. But this is a lot of points, so I'm excited about this one. So let's turn our attention now to Michigan and Georgia. Uh, Georgia laying 7.5 points here, Nick. I'm going to let you start us off here on this one. The total 45 and a half. This has actually been bet up a little bit from 44 up to 45 and a half. Nick, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
So it should be a slower pace game. Georgia is 109th in the nation in tempo. Michigan's 89th. Both of these defenses limit teams on big plays. They both rank third and fourth in the nation in plays of 30 yards or more. Should be an old school run first, play action type game. Who's going to win the running game? I think that's going to decide the game. Both teams run it almost about 60% of the time. Both teams are averaging 5.3 yards per rush. They're going to be going up against the Georgia defense, only giving up 2.6 yards per rush, and then Michigan gives up 3.5. So stout on defense. The surprising stat that I came up with here, Georgia has a 0 turnover margin. As good as that defense is, they rank 63rd in the nation in turnover margin. They've turned the ball over 16 times on offense. Michigan only turned it over 11 times this season, which ranks 13th in the country. So it could be an angle to look at there. Keep an eye on who's turning the ball over in this game. And has Alabama exposed the Georgia pass defense? I mean, they threw the ball for 421 yards in their last time out. So, we'll see. But I definitely, it'll definitely be a slow paced. I would lean towards the under here, and I would lean towards a dog. But some trends, couple trends here. I'll throw in some more trends here. We have Bulldogs 6-2 ATS in their last 8 bowl games, 10-4 ATS in their last 14 neutral site games as a favorite, 5-2 ATS in their last 7 non-conference, and 11-5 ATS in their last 16 neutral site games. Wolverines are 5-0 ATS in their last 5, 4-1 ATS in their last 5 non-conference games. Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, Nick, I think this is a fascinating game. As much as I want Cincinnati to pull the upset in that first game, but I think this is the more intriguing game as far as
Definitely.
Georgia was so good all year, right? They were so dominant. They weren't giving up any touchdowns. The defense was just setting records, and then they give up a bunch of points against Bama. They should be, I mean, obviously both teams are highly motivated. It's nice to talk about these games, Nick, where we're not looking at opt-outs, who's playing and
Yeah.
who's not. We know that both these teams really want to win this game and everybody's going to play that can play.
Yeah. They're not going to cancel these games. So,
Right. Yeah, they better not. Harbaugh, and he deserves credit for the season that they had this year. Certainly, they were highly rated many years and disappointed and all once they have a breakout season when people really didn't expect it this year, which is interesting. I'm not a big Stetson Bennett guy. I
No.
think that Bennett is a game manager that when you're ahead and you just want to kind of manage and hold the lead, he's good. But when he gets behind, we've seen him twice now against Alabama really struggle. So if Michigan can get a lead here, I think it would really help because we know Aiden Hutchinson's a tremendous pass rusher. That guy is a beast. He
Yeah.
dominated the Ohio State offensive line, certainly. The key here in this game to me is Michigan's offensive line against Georgia's defensive line. Michigan has given up only 27 tackles for a loss this year. And guys, I mean, that is just an insane number. 27 tackles for loss. Nobody else in the country has allowed less than 41. So they have just completely eliminated those big negative plays, which is obviously key. McNamara is not a great quarterback, but he's done a good job in this system. Corum and Haskins, really big play running backs. I lean toward Michigan plus 7.5. I don't love that the public loves Michigan so much. The public definitely is betting Michigan in this one. And the public has not been very good in bowl games. So we'll see. I don't think Michigan's going to push around the defensive line of Georgia like they did Ohio State's. That's for sure. Much better run defense here. As far as the total, Nick, I don't know what to do with this total. I kind of think maybe Georgia team total under would be a good look because I don't think the winner of this game scores very many points. I don't see this being a 30 something game for the winner. I think it's going to be in the 20s. So maybe a Georgia team total under would be my look in this game. I'm fascinated by this game and looking forward to it. I hope these games live up to their billing, certainly. So,
Yeah,
um,
I'm with you
what
there.